The first thing I look for when I'm looking for a job, or hopefully, I get offered one, but I look at the script. The script is the first thing, the written word, the characters. If it's a story is character driven, or I look for strong female characters, obviously. Although I have played a man before. In fact, my first role was playing Noah Claypool, the Undertaker's son in Oliver. So. Yeah, I played a lot of different characters, but I always look for the script to move me, and characters who have a nice arc. They have a beginning, middle, and end. They go through something. They come out the other side. They don't always have to be, good characters. They can be evil. Whatever. If I can find a way to relate to them and see myself doing, I get excited writing I get excited reading the script. If it resonates with me, I jump at it. Well, this is going to be an odd reference because I don't know if everyone's seen this movie, but I did this movie called Drop Dead Gorgeous a long time ago, and when I read that script, I knew I wanted to play the role. It was a trailer trash woman named Loretta, and I just thought the script was enormously fun, and I loved what the character got to do, and I had to fight for that part. The producer didn't want me, the director wanted me for it, and I just remember that was the first time I wanted something that I went after, and it's a comedy, it was a mockumentary. Then, reading the part of C.J. Craig in The West Wing, I read that and just thought, Aaron Sorkin is one of the greatest writers we have in America, and he wrote a brilliant script, wrote a great character who became one of my favorite parts I've ever played because of how she's a role model for a lot of women. She's a strong woman's role in a male-dominated arena, Washington politics, and that was a pretty great part. When I read that, I was like, I seem to play the women who hold things together. Everything's falling apart around them, and they are the glue, and they hold things together. And I don't know if that's because I'm tall or I'm kind of, I don't know. I look like I know what I'm doing, which is not what's really going on. But I'm an actor, so. I like things that are messy. I don't necessarily, when I'm doing something that's a comedy, I don't act like I'm in a comedy. I don't try to be funny. I think the stakes tend to be higher when you're in a comedy. Um, but I kind of look at it all as the same, even though I know they're different styles. Like doing a Noel Coward play is different than doing an Arthur Miller play, and I've gotten to do both of those, and I know how to operate in both those worlds, and I don't know why I know how to do that. I just do, and I don't know if I learned that or if it's just instinctual. But I grew up watching Carol Burnett on television, watching that great comedian. She inspired me enormously, and watching women like Maggie Smith and Judi Dench and Meryl Streep, and all of these women inspired me as an actress and wanting to be one. Laurie Metcalf inspired me. I saw her in a performance of Balm and Gilead in New York City, and I wanted to quit acting after I saw her because I thought, well, that's it. I don't know if I could do that. She's so brilliant. Every time I start a new project, I think, how do I do this? I don't know how I feel like I've forgotten how to act or what I do, and every single part I think that, and I go, how do I do this again? And I go back to all my acting books. I go back to my Stanislavski book. I go back to David Mamet, Actors on Acting. I just start looking at all my acting books, and I've even hired acting coaches just to look at something from a fresh pair of eyes and get some feedback and some help. But usually I read the script or whatever I'm doing a minimum of like 10 times. Just read it without making any decisions. Just read it, just to let it get in my body and understand the story, and I start to understand what my character wants, and I start to figure out what they need and why is this scene in the play or movie, what's important, what do I have to accomplish in the scene, why is the scene in this movie, why is the scene in this play, what do I need to get, and my objective. I think of, in Tonya, I play a woman who's on the page pretty awful, horrible, abusive woman, and my challenge there is to find her humanity, what makes her three-dimensional, because she's not just a terrible woman. There's something that makes her, that she had to come from, she was a little girl once and had a family, so I have to start putting together that puzzle in my mind. What she must have been abused herself. This must have happened, and so it makes sense, so I can connect and have some empathy for her, or feel, I can play her, and she's a real human, a real person, no matter how awful. Conversely, if someone is, my character in The Way Back was, pretty boisterous and loud and funny and drinking and laughing, but I knew I had to think, okay, she's hiding something there. I had to look underneath. I'm always looking for what's underneath. That's my favorite thing to do as an actor. I feel like I'm a little detective trying to figure out what's underneath the character, what makes them. What are they afraid of? What do they tell themselves to get up every day? And what do they believe in? And that's the fun work. And then I use a lot of music in my acting. I love to prepare listening to, if there's an emotional need, I like to listen to music that moves me. And I studied at the Neighborhood Playhouse in New York City, and they taught you a lot about emotional preparation. And sometimes, your preparation doesn't have to. Sometimes, for me, my preparation has nothing to do with the character or the play or the movie or whatever I'm working on. It can have absolutely nothing to do with it. And if the subject matter itself I can't connect to it, then I go to music and find what moves me, and I bring that. I prepare, forget about it, and go and do the scene. All different ways I tackle. And I'm always looking for help from anyone. I'm always like, tell me how you would do this. I ask everybody. I'm not afraid to say I don't know how to play this. How would you play this? I ask a million questions. I love the costume designers to tell. They put me in a costume, and I go, oh, I think I know who I am now. I love to get input from absolutely everybody. I definitely always will have a strong sense of what I'm doing, but I like to hear. Don't get me wrong. I don't like anyone to say you're not doing that right or tell me how to do it better. But I love to. I just am a detective. That's how I think of myself, and I like to ask people what they think of what's going on for you here. What do you think our relationship is? What do you think? It's fun to explore those things with your fellow actors, and I think of acting as such a team sport, really. I love that I grew up in the theater, and I know what it means to be on stage and give someone their moment and then take your moment, and I like that part of it. And sometimes actors who haven't studied in the theater aren't aware of that part of acting, and I feel sorry for them, because it's so much fun to be on stage with people who know how to act and give each other moments, or people that are generous and giving with their acting. I think the biggest challenge for me has been my height. I'm 6 feet tall. Also, my self-esteem, my feeling that I was ready for something or wanting to take on the challenge, being intimidated by the whole business of acting. I wish I had actually, I studied at the Neighborhood Playhouse, and I also went to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts I got a fellowship to study there, and I loved all that. I just didn't know how to, the business side of it, such a huge part, and can be very intimidating to an actor. And I wish I'd gotten sort of schooled on that, how to what the business is, what it means, how do I fit into the business part of it. It's a whole different animal, and the acting is one side, and then the business is different. And being as an actor, you have to be. I'm very thin-skinned, and my God, it's that was challenging, going through auditioning and not getting things, and being told I was too tall to act, being told I was, not pretty enough, those things are really hard to go through as a young actor. So my own mind getting in my way of thinking, being afraid of. I remember when I got my first Broadway play when I was 38. It was Present Laughter, Noel Coward's Present Laughter, and I was I've never been so afraid. And then my brother helped me out, realizing that he made me realize that I know that I know what I'm doing. I have the experience. I've grown up doing plays, and just because it's on Broadway doesn't mean um, it's the same thing. It's the same relationship to the audience, and you'll be fine. He helped me through that. But my gosh, my getting out of my own way really was the biggest challenge. It still is, but I'm working on it. Every part I have is a challenge. Every one. Nothing I do is ever like, oh, I got this. It's easy. I always think, oh my God, what if I fail? Am I gonna? And you just have to put yourself out there and trust yourself and trust the people that you work with, and yeah, everything has every part has its challenge. I've been lucky to have two long-running shows on television, The West Wing and now Mom, and it's rare that an actor gets to play a character over and over like that for years. I did CJ for 7 years, and it does get easier. You do know, I felt very comfortable in her skin. Sometimes I felt a little too comfortable. I got a little lazy, and we'd get into shooting 2 or 3 episodes at the same time, doing reshoots and things, and I would literally just be memorizing lines and saying them and just trusting the fact that I know this character. I don't have to work anymore. I just have to learn the lines and spit them out in the right order. Oh my God, it was really challenging, but so fun to get comfortable in a character like that and explore all different aspects of them through the years. And it's a really great opportunity that not too many actors get to do. It's a lot of fun. And it's different than doing a play over it's like doing a play I always think of as like Groundhog Day, where you just keep doing it. And I keep thinking, if I just get it right this time, I don't have to do it again. It's kind of fun to approach doing a play like that. But with a TV show and doing a series, you get a different new script every time, but same character. It's enormously fun. I think the best advice that I could give someone who was starting out is to study and learn. Don't be afraid to take different kinds of classes, different acting techniques. You never know what's going to work for you. And I found it enormously helpful and also comforting as I was trying to find work to always be in a class. So I was always acting with people and being around people who were struggling and doing the same thing I was. That's what saved me, I think, when I wasn't working as constantly taking classes, getting involved in theater companies, I did backstage work. I was a stagehand for a while. I did, learning all the different aspects too. I love, and for directors, young directors and playwrights they should all take acting classes. They should all know how to act. It's a great skill to have when you're trying to communicate to actors, to know what they have to go through. And maybe I should have taken a director's course. I don't know. I would be a lousy director, but I didn't do that for my but I did. I have in the theater. I did a lot of backstage work and built sets and called shows and ran a lighting board, ran a sound board, it makes you have a lot of appreciation and respect for everybody that you work with, and I think that's a great thing to have to bring to the table.